and we're good to go. That's a finished job. Right. In a world where artists aren't made of money, troubling and challenging times face us all, and car issues are a thing that suck. Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? Will here from Will Brown Art. Today we're working on my 2005 Kia Sportage. I am a traveling artist and YouTuber, and one of my skill sets is that I'm pretty damn good with mechanical work and cars. I've done head gaskets, timing belts, and a whole bunch of brakes and other repairs over the years. Saved me a whole lot of money, and seeing as I'm an artist and I'm investing quite a bit in my business at this moment, I'm gonna go ahead and do my rear calipers here. A while ago they were sticking and having some issues. I did a quick fix on them. I won't bore you with the details, and it got me by during a hard time, and now at this time I really need to replace them. So what I ended up doing is, instead of going to an O'Reilly's or an AutoZone or one of those auto parts stores and paying more, I went to Amazon.com and ordered myself some rear calipers for this specific vehicle. That cost me $100, about $115 with tax and shipping and all that stuff. So what we got going on, you guys, is I went ahead and I broke loose the lug nuts. I'm going to jack up the vehicle, secure it safely with the jack stands, and then pop off the tire, and I will show you guys some more about what we're going to do with the calipers, how we're going to get this off, how we're going to bleed the brake, seeing as it's just me right now working on this, so I don't have two people to do this, but I have some methods of making it work. So let's get to it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. If you like this video and this content, of course, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Let's dive in. You ready, Otter? That's my dog, Otter. He's going to be popping in and out of the shots. Okay, as you can see, we got the wheel off. This is what this is looking like. This right here is the caliper. Brake pads are in there, rotor's there. What we're gonna be doing is taking off these bolts right here, loosening this thing up. And then I'm gonna crack that bolt as well, which takes off the brake line. And I wanna be able to take that off and attach that to the new caliper. So I'm gonna get on all of that stuff. If you guys have some penetrating oil or PB blaster, that kind of thing, now's the time to spray down all the bolts, the connection points that you're going to be removing, and getting everything set and ready to go. All right guys, so I went ahead and sprayed it down, letting it soak here with that PB blaster. All that does is eat away some of the rust and crap that keeps the bolts binded to it. So now I'm just going to put the C-clamp on here and see if I can't just lightly, doesn't need to be a lot, just like that, just enough to slide this thing off with ease. Compress the cylinder on that caliper so it's not sticking to the rotor. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get this loose just the tiniest bit. Why it's on here. Okay, so what I just did is the brake line that comes down and connects to the caliper, I just want to loosen that just a tiny bit. Why everything's secure on here. That way I don't have to try to hold it and do it at the same time, just in case it was really stuck on there. I'm gonna pop this guy off, and we're gonna get everything set for the next phase. It's not good. Okay, this I'm gonna put right up here. All right guys, so the rain stopped a little bit, which is good. The camera got a little bit low on battery as well. So this is as far as I've gone. Right now I'm just taking off this main big bolt right there. There's one there and there's one up top. And that's all ready to go when I'm ready to swap it over. And you always want to make sure you check and verify that this is the correct one. And I already looked it over pretty meticulously and it looks great. So we're good to go, and a little bit at a time, guys. All right, here we go. Okay, it took ridiculously long to get that bottom one out, but I got it out. And that's the nature of doing these jobs, right? Is one bolt that should take not even 30 seconds to get out can take 10 minutes of freaking slowly working it out so you don't strip it or break it or anything. But anyways, it's done. Now we're just gonna put this guy on and ready to switch over the brake line. I gotta reuse these bolts, so I went to take like a pick tool here or a wire brush and just clean them up a little bit. Get all that gunk and crap that was getting binded on there. Yeah, I've had some Loctite, it looks like, up here towards the top. So I'm just gonna kind of break that up a little bit. Clean these up slightly. Nothing too fancy because this is a vehicle, it's like almost 250,000 miles and has other issues. It's not gonna last very long. It's not, you know, some long-term vehicle, so I don't have to be all super meticulous here, but at the same time, you do want things to go back as smoothly as possible and with the least amount of wear to the bolts, the nuts and the bolts. Okay, I'm gonna try to prep this thing as much as possible. So this needs to be popped out. And this is where the brake line's gonna go. And I'm gonna pop off this little nipple and just put it to the side. That way, that's all ready to go. Make sure that lock washer's on there. Loosen that guy. Loosen this guy. Slide this off. This. There we go. Okay, now that's all put together. And now, let's see if we can't tighten this while we have this off here. So, grab this, tap it a few times till it's nice and tight. So we're gonna go ahead and switch this over to right here. And the only thing I want to say about that is it comes with some extra brass washers there that go inside of there, and make sure you replace those, or make sure the washer's on there and it's a good tight fit, no leaking brake fluid. And then I will show you how I bleed my brakes when it's just me. See how there's a brass washer right there? I'm gonna make sure you put one of those new ones in there, on the new one here. So, grab a new brass washer. And let's make sure we put this on correctly. This has a little bit of a bend in it, so I want to, one more thing I forgot here. So on this side, there's a brass washer also. So since these squish down, we want both of these to be brand new. You want it to be a really good seal. Of course, you don't want to over tighten anything, but you do want this to not leak. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe this up now. So I always dry it off real good. And then check it, see if any more is leaking out. I will go like this though with it. I think that did the trick. And of course, whenever you're working on cars, you can go get all the torque specs for every single bolt and nut and all that for every single job. And then you get a little torque wrench, you torque everything appropriately. Like I said, this is a car that I'm just getting by with. I want it to be good enough. Okay, so then what's gonna happen is when you pump your brakes, it's gonna pressurize the fluid in this line, and it's going to push against the cylinder in the caliper, which pushes the brake pads against the rotor and stops the car. So I wanna make sure there's no air in this line now. So you have a bleeder valve right here. Show you how I do this. So when you don't have somebody here to help you, you can find a little wrench where you can break this thing loose and stick a little tube like this over the top so it seals it off, and then stick the end inside of a water bottle. Make sure the brake fluid reservoir, I'll show you in a second, is topped off, and then crack this open, pump it until the fluid is clear in the line, close it off, and then you've removed the air from the line. So that's a method we're about to use. But before I do that, I gotta find the appropriate tool. I think it's a 10mm wrench, I'm not sure. But all right guys, here's the system all set up. We got the 10mm wrench set up on here. This is really shoved down. This cord, or this tube is really shoved down on that nipple to make it seal tight. And then I just got it kind of stuck right in there. And then I will pop it loose like this, opening that up, and then crank it down once we've pumped it. So right now I'm gonna bring you around and show you what's going on in the engine bay. So right here you have your brake boost, which your master cylinder sits on, and then you have your brake fluid reservoir. So I got this open and I got it topped off. So as I begin to pump my brakes, it's gonna suck this fluid down through the brake fluid lines and into that caliper, and it's gonna bring down the level of this fluid. So you always wanna make sure that you keep it high and that it doesn't get too low. And so, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I got some more fluid ready to go. That's topped off. So let's do this. I'll let you watch from this vantage point. There you guys go. So I'm gonna do this right now and you get to watch it. Okay, as you can see, all fluid is coming out. It's not a bunch of bubbles inside of there. And that was only like 5 to 7 times. I'm gonna pump it a little bit more and remove some of this old fluid, and because I got the new stuff right now. So I'm just gonna kind of wash this through real quick. So I'm gonna top it off inside the reservoir and pump another like 7 times or so. Okay, good. So now we quickly close this off. Now that's sealed, so I can pop this off. Be careful not to get any in your eyes. There we go. And then just drain it all out into the water bottle. There we go. So just make sure that's good and tight without busting it. Very careful. And then what you can do to verify, I'm gonna go push on the brake pedal. And when I do that, it's gonna pressurize that line. And if that's not tight enough, it's gonna drip out a little bit. And so then I'll tighten it down a little bit more. Look at it. Dry as a bone. Press down that pedal a few times nice and hard. So we're gonna cap that off. We're gonna check all of this back here again. Good. And then just to go over it, this is what I do in my head. I tighten these 2 big bolts. I tighten these. I bled this, and this is tight. Shims are in place. Brake pads are in place. And we're good to go. That's a finished job. Really, when you do this, you should do the rotors as well, and at least get them machined. But like I said, it's 150,000 miles on this car. I'm just trying to get by. I don't have time to rebuild all this, and I don't want to put the money into it at all. It's probably only going to last coming through this next summer, and the vehicle will be replaced. So this will work for now. $100, $115 off of Amazon. Rear calipers for 2005 Kia Sportage. I will be doing this exact same procedure on the other side, and so I won't put that in the video. But this was a fun video to do, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps you in the future if you have a Kia Sportage and you're trying to figure out how to do this job. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not too expensive. Which is nice. So huge thanks for watching this video, guys. Once again, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And this is my journey as an artist, as a YouTuber, as a children's book author, and a poet, just trying to transform and inspire the world in and through the arts. And you know, I'm a jack of all trades. I do all kinds of projects and build all kinds of things. Built a tiny home. That's all in my other content. You're more than welcome to check it out. Want to give a huge thanks to my sponsor for my YouTube channel, Crystal Spirit in Tacoma, Washington. If you're into rocks, minerals, and crystals, you'll love checking out their website. I got a link in the description below. I got some of my art, my sculptures displayed in their shop, and if you go to their shop and tell them that Will Brown sent you, you get 10% off discount. So huge thanks to Crystal Spirit for sponsoring my channel. And as always, a huge thanks to all my Patreons. I really do appreciate you guys deeply. You are making a huge difference in my life and the progression of Will Brown art. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Otter and I, as always, want to invite you to check out my children's books. Links to all of that in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. In the next few weeks, we're going to be putting a radiator in the art van, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be awesome, and I'm excited to share that video with you also. See you next time on Will Brown Art. Bye.